By far the most popular Instagram breakfast item.
Welcome to Project Foodie. My name is Daniel Holzman. I'm the chef and owner of the Meatball Shop restaurant in New York City.
You've just selected avocado toast. Typically, our episodes are only available on our app, but we decided to share this episode with you here on YouTube.
I'm gonna be here with you for every second of the process until your meal hits the plate. Feel free to hit pause, rewind, or slow it down whenever you need to.
Avocado toast is a great breakfast, lunch, or afternoon, late night snack because it looks and feels healthy, but it's actually indulgent and delicious. Avocado toast is the kind of thing you eat when you're hanging out with your white friends. First and foremost, I want to gather all of our ingredients and have everything sensibly laid out. In a restaurant, we call this mise en place. It means having everything ready at a hand's reach for when you need it. This recipe has 3 simple steps and should take about 15 to 20 minutes. You guys ready to get started? Step 1, we're going to get our water on to boil and we're going to begin prepping our avocados. To begin, we're going to fill a pot with water to boil. To poach eggs, you just need to make sure that you have a shallow pot with enough room that you can actually reach in there and get in there, because we're going to scoop our eggs out with a spoon. If you have like a really deep pot, you can imagine it's awkward, so don't go crazy with that. Filling it up with hot water will make it boil faster for sure, because the boiling process has begun in the basement in my water boiler. For me, you need enough water in this pot so that it will not slow down the cooking process when I add our cold eggs to it. So a couple of, 2 quarts of water for 2 eggs, a quart of water for 2 eggs. This I think is a 3-quart pot, so I think 1.5 quarts of water for 2 eggs should be more than enough. I have a really foolproof method for poaching eggs that makes it very easy. I think there are a lot of people that like to overcomplicate it. But basically what we're going to do is we're going to put our water on to boil. And we're going to add, for every quart of water, a tablespoon or 2 of vinegar, white vinegar. In this case, I happen to have white wine vinegar. It's a little more expensive, so I if I was buying it for this dish, I would use white vinegar. But I happen to have this on hand. You just want something that is a clear or light color so it's not going to stain the eggs and has a neutral flavor. The vinegar actually plays a really important role. It is not for flavor, but it coagulates, which is a fancy word for cooking, the albumin, which is a fancy word for egg white. So basically it cooks the egg white the same way that you would, I guess, cook a ceviche, like a fish. You would put lime juice or acid on the fish and it actually cooks it. Well, with egg white, which is a sensitive protein, the acid actually cooks it. And what that does is when you're going to drop your egg into the boiling water, it will cook the outside of it, which holds it spherically. So it won't actually break up. And you can imagine if you were just to break an egg into water, it would kind of like turn into a big mess in there and you wouldn't get that nice shape. So the vinegar helps to make it a perfect sphere, which is awesome. So water's on to boil. Next step, we're going to start to prep our avocados. For me, I want to use a really ripe avocado for avocado toast because we want to, we want it to be like nice and supple. So just feeling the avocado, pushing on it is a great way to tell when it's soft. If there's any space between the skin and the meat, that's when it's kind of like started to rot inside and dry out, and that's what you don't want, but you want it to be very soft to the touch. And a good way to check is you just pull out the little top piece here, which is like the pit or the stem, and you see how it kind of fell out, and yet it's still a light green color. So you want it to come out really easily. But you can see actually the difference is that this one is more ripe, maybe slightly overripe, and this one is kind of perfect. You can see that it's a little bit brown in there versus this one that's nice and green. So this would be perfect, maybe a little overripe. We'll cut them and see. And to cut our pits out of our avocados, we have a very simple, easy way to do this, which is we're going to take our knife and with our stem side up, we're just going to cut straight down in until we feel the pit. Boom. And then once we feel the pit, you can turn your avocado on its side and just spin the avocado around until you hit the same cut again. Just like that. So that would be one. And then you just give it a turn. and the avocado pit will be on one side and the hole on the other. At which point you can carefully, I do this in the palm of my hand, but if you're feeling like you might miss and cut your finger off, that would be really terrible, so you could do it on the cutting board. You could just kind of gently, you're just going to gently, using the kind of heel part of the knife, kick it into the pit, twist, and then the stem will come out with the knife. So I've got my organic waste receptacle, otherwise known as garbage can, and using my thumb I can just kind of gently push down and it will pop the pit right into the waste receptacle. Great job. I'm going to do that one more time, into the pit, like this. On its side, spin the avocado until it hits the same cut, give us a twist. The pit ends up on one side, the hole in the other. Gently and carefully, going to give it a little tiny pop, boom, at which point I'm just going to toss our pit right onto the floor. So, there are a lot of different ways to get an avocado out. I think one of the easiest ways is to use a spoon that's kind of a big spoon that's shaped like an avocado, and you can scoop just like this, go in at the front, and just scoop out, feeling that you're following the skin, and that will actually pop the whole half out. That's one great way to do it. One of my favorite ways to do this is actually, I cut the avocado again in half, so I've got a quarter, and I peel it just like a banana from top to bottom, and that'll peel it out. So that's another great way to do it. Again, like we're making avocado toast, this is pretty simple. I don't think you need to be, you know, there are lots of ways to skin a cat, and there are fewer ways to skin an avocado, but you can choose your poison to skin your cat, well, to kill it before you skin it. Anyway, cat would be another topping. I prefer to cut them in half because look at how beautiful and perfect that is. You know what I'm saying? But in this case, it's fine because we're making avocado toast. So, got that. And then what we're actually going to do is we're just going to give these guys a little dice. And to dice them, I'm just going to go straight, maybe into 1/2 inch or 3/4 inch slices, straight down. 4 or 5 slices per. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Give them a spin, and then just 1, 2, 3, 4 the other way. Spin, and 1, 2, 3, 4. So that's just going to kind of, for me, be most of the cuts of the avocado. I don't really love avocado toast that's super mushy. I like it to have little kind of chunks in there. So by cutting them like that, that'll be easy. And then what we can do is just give our cutting board a little clean because we've got avocado smudged all over it. And that, our water's on to boil, our avocado's cut, is the end of step 1. Step 2, we're going to poach our eggs and toast our bread. Avocado toast. Ow! Yow! All right. So, a little towel to wipe down my cutting board. Avocado toast. Okay. So step 1, we've got our water on to boil, our avocados are cut and prepped. Step 2, we're going to preheat our broiler. If you have a toaster, that would be a much more efficient way to toast bread. Little toaster or toaster oven. I don't, so I use my broiler. I put my oven all the way up to broil, and then we're gonna cut our bread. I've got this beautiful rustic whole wheat loaf of bread, which I love. Any bread will do for avocado toast. For me, rustic and beautiful is like, you know, the name of the game, so we're gonna go with it. I think that if we're going to, you know, shucks, I could do like a whole PhD thesis on what type of bread to choose for what sandwich or what dish, whether we're gonna make like a Pullman loaf on like a turkey club, which is a perfect sandwich. I brought this bread from Bianqui. Happens to be my favorite bakery in New York City. It's in Brooklyn. everything there is absolutely excellent, and there's just something so beautiful about it. You can choose whatever bread your heart desires. When you're walking through the supermarket, you just look left, you look right, and you wait for the bread to sing your name. Maybe even like an English muffin. An English muffin would make a killer to me. I love English muffin pizza. I like baguette pizza. In this case, we're making rustic avocado toast. Cutting the bread into a nice thick slice. Bread knife obviously works. I use a regular sharp knife to cut through fresh bread. I find that the bread knife sticks in the kind of soft center, so I just kind of cut. And we're gonna cut, for me, this would be too small of a chunk of avocado toast, so I'm gonna cut it on a diagonal, simply to get a larger slice. So straight down into a couple of thick slices of this beautiful rustic whole wheat. They call it a boule, which I don't know what that is. It's like a bread, I guess, in French or something. I think that means it's like a naturally leavened or something, yeast from the air. And then our bread can go right onto our toasting tray. We're gonna drizzle a tiny bit of olive oil on top. Putting my thumb over the top, we're just gonna give it a little just a tiny drizzle on each piece. I like to use a lightly flavored olive oil because I don't want the olive oil to overpower the flavor of the bread. A bread like this is good because they use great flour. It's got a great flavor. And then what we're gonna do here is we're going to begin poaching our eggs. So this is a moment of truth. This is the way we do this. I've got my eggs ready. Our water is at a rapid boil over a high flame. You can see the bubbles are rising vigorously. We're gonna spin the water. And by spinning the water, we're gonna create a whirlpool, and that is going to form the egg into a circle. So just grab the water, and this is actually not 100% necessary. You just drop the eggs and it kind of works fine, but it gets a flat bottom, and this is going to stop the eggs from hitting the bottom, which is going to make them more flat, more round. So we're just going to spin the water into a whirlpool, and then right at the center of the whirlpool, we're going to crack our egg. And I've heard say that on a flat surface, the egg will crack better without leaving shells, and drop our egg right in. We're going to do that 2 times with 2 eggs, and you can see that the eggs kind of swirl around, and because of the vinegar and because of the swirling of the water, they form into like a nice poached egg shape, which is somewhere between like a deflated softball and a pillow that's been ruffled in an afternoon slumber, which would be a perfect thing to do after you're done with your avocado toast for lunch. So we're going to lower our flame because we don't want our eggs to break apart. Once they've formed, we want them to softly poach, but we don't want the boiling water to agitate them, breaking them up, breaking up the yolks. So I'm just going to have them simmer. So over a medium-low flame now for about 3 minutes, these eggs are going to cook, and we're going to toast our bread in that time. So our bread, our olive oil is going to go right in the broiler, and that, for me, is step 2. So step 2, eggs are in the water, toast in the broiler. Our eggs are going to poach for 3 minutes, and our toast is going to take about 2 minutes to toast. So we'll pull our toast out first, and then our eggs will be ready. Step 3, we're going to finish the avocados. We're going to assemble our avocado toast, and then we are going to eat and enjoy. We've got lemons, slice straight down the center. We're going to season our avocado toast with olive oil, kosher salt, and lemon juice. We can use our slotted spoon, which we are going to pull our poached eggs out with, to just catch any seeds that fall, because the only way to make an avocado toast less than awesome, other than under seasoning it or using underripe avocados, is when you put lemon pits in there. So a little bit of that. So giving this guy a little taste. We're giving this a mix For me, again, I like the chunks of the avocado, the texture. I don't want guacamole toast. So I just kind of give it a mix, and then we can give it a little taste. And it should be salty and acidic and bright. And I should taste the avocado, and I should taste the olive oil, and it should be balanced, which it is. So I've accomplished my goal of making delicious avocado for our avocado toast. Everybody loves avocado. It's like everybody's favorite. And the reason is it's a really rich fatty food with tons and tons of calories, and our bodies are programmed through evolution to appreciate fatty foods because it's the easiest, fastest way for us to get energy. Smallest package, most energy. It's why we like candy bars. Avocados are like nature's candy bars. Yeah. So, checking our toast, which is a beautiful dark golden brown. You can just put this right on our cutting board. Take our eggs, and with a slotted spoon carefully, you can lift them out, and you can see that they're firm. The white is firm, but the yolk is still soft in there. We can just lay those right onto our paper towels to drain. And then we've got this head of garlic. I'm going to peel 1 clove of garlic carefully. And we're just going to rub our garlic onto our piece of toast. So on the toasted side of the toast, we're going to gently rub the garlic, and the toast acts almost like sandpaper, so you want to be careful because you can use a lot of garlic, you can overdo it. But just gently give it a little rub, and that is going to season the toast with the garlic flavor. You can smell the garlic wafting. Our toast goes on our plate. Our avocados are going to go right over the top, and in my case I'm going to pile the avocados high like it's Christmas morning, like a Yule log on Christmas morning. And I got a little avocado on the plate here, which I'm going to pretend I did on purpose, and then I'm just going to zhuzh it up with some extras because it looks... We're going to make a slight dimple or divot in the center of our avocados, which will be like a little landing zone. And then this is the only tricky part of this situation here. We're going to very gently get our egg onto our avocado off of it here without breaking the yolk. And the way to do that is we're just going to tip the plate so it falls on, and then we're going to tip the egg on. So again, we're just going to tip the plate so that the egg falls onto or pick up the paper towel so the egg falls onto the spoon, and then we're going to let it fall back off. You don't want to be scooping and shoving your spoon and breaking the yolk. A final drizzle with the thumb over the egg of olive oil. A light dusting of freshly cracked black pepper. And, very special here, our finishing touch of our maldon. Look at all these knives I have available. Sea salt. You can see that this salt is really light and flaky. It's actually very salty, so I'm just going to give it just a little seasoning, just to kind of give myself a crunch. And we can always put extra on the side for those folks that like it extra salty. But like most people eating super healthy breakfast like avocado toast, they think salt is bad for them. So we go light on the salt so as not to disturb their sensitive palates. Ladies and gentlemen, we've made this very simple version of America's favorite breakfast, avocado toast. Do you feel like we should cut into this right away? I'm going to use my steak knife because avocado toast deserves a fancy knife. And we're just going to cut open our egg and see what happens. Oh my God, look at that. It's just streaming out. So perfect. Cut a slice of toast, and with a fork and knife like a civilized human. God. No wonder everybody loves avocado toast. Wow. If you're still watching, your eggs are getting cold. So you should immediately dive in. And that's delightful.
I hope you've enjoyed this Project Foodie, and I hope you'll join us for more.
Be sure to like and subscribe, check us on Instagram, and download the Project Foodie app on the iOS App Store. To make avocado toast, you are going to need the following ingredients. We're making a very simple avocado toast with bread for toast. I brought this bread from Bianqui. Happens to be my favorite bakery in New York City. It's in Brooklyn. Everything there is absolutely excellent, and there's just something so beautiful about it. You can choose whatever bread your heart desires. When you're walking through the supermarket, you just look left, you look right, and you wait for the bread to sing your name. Maybe even like an English muffin. An English muffin would make a killer to me. I love English muffin pizza. I like baguette pizza. In this case, we're making rustic avocado toast. You are going to need avocados. For me, I want to use a really ripe avocado for avocado toast because we want to, we want it to be like nice and supple. So just feeling the avocado, pushing on it is a great way to tell when it's soft. If there's any space between the skin and the meat, that's when it's kind of like started to rot inside and dry out, and that's what you don't want, but you want it to be very soft to the touch. And a good way to check is you just pull out the little top piece here, which is like the pit, or the stem, and you see how it kind of fell out, and yet it's still a light green color. So you want it to come out really easily. But you can see actually the difference is that this one is more ripe, maybe slightly overripe, and this one is kind of perfect. You can see that it's a little bit brown in there versus this one that's nice and green. You are going to need olive oil, salt, kosher salt, lemon juice, black pepper. We're going to use a little bit of fresh garlic. We're just going to rub on the toast to give it just like a tiny je ne sais quoi. White vinegar, eggs. So in order to poach eggs successfully, you want to use an acidulated water that is acidic. To make your water acidic, you add an acid. Vinegar is an example. Lemon juice would be an example. I prefer white vinegar because it is fairly neutral in flavor. It's fairly inexpensive, and because of the color, it does not stain the eggs. If you were to use like red wine vinegar, the eggs will stain red. You are going to need maldon sea salt and water. Basically, they grow the salt crystals in these like hollow pyramid shapes that make it extremely crunchy. So there's no discernible difference in the flavor from salt to salt or the saltiness, salinity from salt to salt. However, there is a textural difference, and because of the speed, the rapidity with which the salt melts on your tongue, it might taste more or less salty depending upon the surface area. So this salt is like got a lot of surface area. It's like got a lot of like cricks and crags, and so when you chew it, it's like a burst of salt, but then it dissolves immediately and it doesn't leave a salty aftertaste. It's great for finishing. It's a finishing salt. To make avocado toast successfully, you are going to need the following tools. You need a pan or some sort of thing that you can toast bread on, which is this. When we poach our eggs, they're going to come out of the boiling water in this pot, paper towel, place them onto this landing pad, which is like a little paper towel, to drain the eggs. Measuring spoons, measuring cups. A slotted spoon is essential for removing eggs from poaching water without breaking the yolk, straining the water out. A knife, a cutting board, small spoon, a bowl for mashing our avocados, a spoon for mixing and tasting and all good stuff, and most importantly, a receptacle for organic food matter where our avocado pits will reside after they're removed.